Hi, today we're at So del Venado here in San Pedro, Ecuador. We'll be given a tour of the local brewery here and you'll get a chance to meet Ivan, who runs it all with his family. Let's go check it out.
My name is Ivan. I'm a master brewer here at So del Venado Craft Brewery here in the Vilcabamba Valley, southern Ecuador. We're going to go and check out the brewery. Under the circumstances we're building and growing, bringing new equipment in. So you'll see the place kind of like torn apart in a way, but in a couple months we'll have it up and running really good.
Let's check it out.
Prior to this expansion, we only had 2 fermenters. They're 1,000-liter fermenters. And this expansion, Cookie, come on, say hi. Under this expansion, we brought in 4 new fermenters, a bright tank, boil kettle, hot liquor tank, and a mash tun, pasteurizer, grain elevator, a couple other things that we've needed for a while here in the brewery. Mash tun, boil kettle, and right here a hot liquor tank. This year we actually installed a tower to make we distill whiskey from it. So we have one of those Kentucky stills, and copper still, and it has 6 diffusers on it. It's pretty good whiskey. We use any beer that doesn't pass our own quality control. We distill and make whiskey from it. So,
where do you guys get most of your equipment?
we get it all from China.
Yeah?
Yes. Today they're really good at making stainless steel equipment.
That's true.
Here in Ecuador, the amount of equipment we just ordered would have cost 3 times more.
Really?
Locally sourced equipment would have been 3 times more and less quality.
Yeah, it's a bad deal.
These were the 2 original pots that my dad used to cook in when I was a kid. Now there are cleaning in place system. Clean out the pots. So come on this way, let's go on through. So the area we used to work in was from here that way. That was our brewery area. And the back floor for the Malting area. And this is the new expansion area. We'll have our the brew house system set up right here, with our fermenters over here, big patio for work, model, etc., etc. So in order to malt, the best way to malt here is floor malting, where we will soak barley or Ecuadorian barley, nationally grown organic barley. We'll soak it for 2 days, and then we will stir it once it's on the floor for 4 days as the active spire grows within the grain to create the enzymes necessary to extract the malt from the grain. After that, we will dry the grain, we will roast the grain, and we will roast about 5 to 10% of the grain, depending on the recipe. And we will roast it no more than 1 week prior to making our beer. So we have a fresh roast in all of our beers. We're gonna walk in. It's our beer supply is kind of low because we haven't been producing for a couple months. Our bottles, these are 350 milliliter bottles. We want to change over to cans. It's better for the environment, even though people try to argue otherwise. Cans are 100% recycled, or use 100% recycled aluminum, and these glass bottles here in Ecuador aren't. They use new glass. Maybe about 20% is recycled glass. Yes, we're putting new floors in. Next week we put the rest of the floors in. And then a week after that we bring our equipment in to start installing all the wiring, water, fuel lines for equipment. In a month we will make our first batch with our new equipment. Our old equipment, our old pots are right there. We just sold them this week to another brewer.
Nice. Very cool.
All good.
All good.
We plan on making after this expansion, a beer garden area through this garden. Behind this area, we're going to change out the roof to a tile roof. There'll be a bar, stage, live music, a projector with a screen. So when we give our tours, we'll have a short video on explaining what hops is and what yeast is and how we malt, the water we use in our beer, how the qualities it has, etc., etc. So, and then we'll give a tour of the brewery, a sample straight out of the fermenter or out of the bright tank, and then have a tasting beer garden type of thing. So there'll be a stage right there. Where the wood is, there'll be a bar, and then this will all be tables, nice like hacienda style tables. And the roof will be a nice tile roof and some pergolas through the garden. And we have the best view of the valley, so
Yeah.
can't complain.
It is beautiful. What is the percentage of your alcohol in your beer?
We make beer between 6 and 6.5% alcohol. Any beyond that, we find it unnecessary, just gonna get you drunk too fast. I'd rather enjoy the beer.
Do you know what the standard is for Ecuador?
It's 4% alcohol is the national beer company, which is owned by Saab Miller and InBev, whatever, and InBev. So it's a big monopoly. We're entering the market. I think between all the craft brewers here in Ecuador, we will produce for about 1% of the market. So it's a good business to be in at the moment.
What made you start, or made you want to get into running a brewery?
Well, my dad moved here to Ecuador 40 years ago, and when he was here, he looked for craft beer. He came from California. You had back then, you know, some of the Anchor Steam beer from San Francisco, and craft beer was kind of like just barely starting in the U.S. And he said, I want to make my own beer, and we come from a family that, you know, is just all into making any distilled spirits, wines, and all sorts of alcohol. And so he decided to teach himself how to make craft beer, and I grew up watching him make beer, and we got our permits 31 years ago to make beer, and didn't quite run it as a business 30 years ago. It was more at a small homebrew scale. And when my dad built the house that we were in, he built it with the idea of making beer when he retires, but in the smaller pots. And I told him, let's go a little bit larger, and I still want to go larger. And we've been producing beer at a larger scale with a brand since 2012. The brand is Sol del Venado, which means like alpine sun, I guess the proper translation to it, which is when the sun sets, the mountains start reflecting these bright yellow colors and bright orange colors, dark shadows. And the old timers say that that's when the deer would come out to drink water before nightfall. And the deer was in its magical moment, a moment of tranquility, because the predator could not see it. So we decided to give our beer a Sol de Venado name, because those yellows, oranges, and dark shadows are colors of beer. And when you drink our beer, we want you to transform yourself into that moment of that sunset and that peace and tranquility, magical moment.
What are the flavors of the beer?
Well, we have 6 different styles. We go with we have blonde ale, a red ale, and a porter slash dunkel, I guess you want to call it, mix. It's our own style because we malt our own barley. An IPA, which will have extra hops, and lager. We mix up the lager, sometimes a regular lager or a red lager. And we have a special beer that comes out just every so often with either coffee, because we have excellent coffee in this valley, or cacao, and we are in the birthplace of cacao. We're actually an hour away from the birthplace of cacao for the rest of the world.
Which one is your favorite?
IPA.
The IPA?
Yeah, we're hops lovers.
Nice.
And even though our IPAs aren't very bitter, we use hops that is more fruit flavor hops, the green mango, maracuya, passion fruit flavors and hops. And local palate really likes that type of thing.
And you mentioned that you were born here?
Yes, I was born and raised here. Went to the school directly across the street. Always showed up late. Went to California, to San Diego, to do my university studies, and then came back here to make the brewery what it is today.
Nice. What was it like growing up here in Ecuador?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah?
I loved it. It was good. It was a lot of fun, a lot of freedom. In the U.S., you can tell that there's a little bit of constraint, especially with youth. They can't just go out anytime, play, and go out in the streets. And here it's the opposite. It's like, why stay indoors? You're always out doing something. And it's a lot of fun. Back then there was no drinking age limits. There's still no drinking age limits. No one's going to get in trouble for underage drinking. So.
Have you ever considered leaving Ecuador?
No. This is my home.
What do you love about Ecuador?
Here, well, not all of Ecuador, because there's parts of Ecuador I don't like. But this area is, we have excellent water, we have excellent air, excellent food, a lot of organic stuff. The people are super friendly, and they're everywhere. Throughout Ecuador, you find everyone super friendly. If you're ever traveling and you get stuck somewhere, just walk up to someone's house and say, hey, can I set up my tent in your porch? And they'll say, no, come on back here, there's a shower, there's this, they'll give you dinner. It's really nice.
Very nice.
Very friendly. Someone said at one point, they said, you make the healthiest beer in the world. I said, why? They said, because you have no chemicals in your beer. There's no pesticides or inorganic fertilizers on the barley. You have pure water. We use organic hops. We use non-GMO yeasts.
For someone who is considering coming to Ecuador to start a business, what advice would you give them?
Patience. You have to have a lot of patience with bureaucracy. And you get to learn the bureaucracy pretty quick. There's a lot of times when you just have to grease the wheel under the table, and it works. It's part of Ecuadorian bureaucracy. If you want things moving along quickly, you say, hey, how much is it going to take? And it gets, things start moving. Second, Ecuador has a lot of opportunity for growth in any type of entrepreneurship or business. Especially now with the new government is gonna kind of like simplify all that bureaucracy so you can do more things online.
How can our viewers at home purchase your beer?
Oh, that's gonna be difficult. Here in Ecuador, yes. Maybe in the future, once we grow another like tenfold. We also make a tonic water with quinine bark, and that will probably make it to the international markets first, because we are in the center of the royal sanctuary for the quinine bark. The quinine bark, honey, orange zest, and lime zest to create a tonic water.
Well, thank you so much for the tour, and we really enjoyed the beer and the tour, and it's really awesome what you're doing here, and we appreciate you showing us around.
And thank you for your visit. You know, anyone's welcome. We're here in San Pedro de Vilcabamba. If you're in Vilcabamba, just ask for about the brewery, or just say cerveceria, and everyone knows where to take you to. Ecuador has a lot to offer. It's a beautiful country.
Definitely. Great, thank you. Well, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. I had a lot of fun visiting the brewery, and I can't wait to see their future progress. My favorite beverage is a Casto. It's red and has a really nice taste to it. Highly recommend if you ever come down to San Pedro, Ecuador. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. We really would appreciate it. Can't wait to see you guys in our next video. Hope you have a great day. Bye.